Oh man, this has been a long time coming. So I had a patron join, God, a while back, like a month ago or more maybe. It goes by the name of Chamberlain, and he requested, or she requested, I think it's a guy, Fallen with Denzel Washington and John Goodman and freaking Donald Sutherland, and it's got a really good cast. Now, this is a film I actually have not seen. Now, I know of it, but of course, and I knew the whole "Time Is on My Side" song being sung over and over and over again, and that it was a body jumping movie, but I had never sat down to watch it. So I did finally. I sat down at work and I watched this in between clients just for you because I was like, I cannot put this movie off anymore. I got to get this done. And I am hammered at work. So like I stayed after work and I stayed after everything. And I was there till like a midnight finishing this film with the internet there so that I could get this shit done. Now that was a few days ago now and I haven't had any damn time to review it. But here we are. All right, moving on. All right, so Time Is on My Side. Yeah, this is, of course, the thing that everybody remembers from this film, even myself, who had never damn seen the film. Now, we get this opening, and Elias, however you say this guy's name, who I'm actually a big fan of. I always forget how to say his name. But he is this killer, and they're gonna sentence him. They sentence him to death, and he's a total wacko, and actually even continues his hate rhetoric all the way up until he's gassed, which supposedly is pretty rare. Like most people fall apart in the chair and they have their remorse and whatever, but this guy is in it to the end, and this is when he's killed, and the thing rises up, and we see that this guy can body jump from person to person as long as it's within a certain radius, as we find out later in the movie. Now, what did I think about this movie? I didn't really like it. Like, I thought it was fine. But when I say I didn't really like it, it's not that I didn't like it. It's that I didn't really like it. Like, I was just kind of like, this is fine. It felt like a typical 90s thriller. Now, Denzel Washington is a very charismatic guy. Like, I absolutely get, the love and affection that he's received over the years just purely off of his charisma, purely off of how he, plays to the camera. Like, that said, he's the same character in every single film. Like, yeah, okay, your acting this is just it. I always say this about these kinds of actors. If you can nail a character that works and everyone likes, then that's awesome, right? And you can continue to do that forever as long as people love that character. Like De Niro does nowadays for the last 20 something years. He's played the same guy in every movie. Bruce Willis. I mean, there's a lot of perfect examples where it's like you can find almost zero films where these guys have a different kind of role, that they don't play the stock character that they play in every fucking movie. But as I said, it's a great character, so it has that ability to be played over and over again and work, and people love it. So I'm not knocking it, I just find it funny. And if you ever get a chance to watch Jay Farrow's from Saturday Night Live impersonating Denzel Washington, I think there's a skit where Denzel Washington is researching a role. So he works at a department store, and someone's trying to bring back something to him, and he comes out, and I never realized how Denzel Washington really has the exact same mannerisms and the exact same responses and the exact same everything in every fucking movie until I watched that. And I was like, oh my God, he does do that in every fucking film. He does that in every single film. Like that, like, laugh, like he's the coolest guy in the room and he's smarter than everyone. And like, it's really, really funny. Like, you got to check that out if you haven't seen it. If I find it, I'll leave it in the comments or the description. We also got James Gandolfini in here, which, you know, is kind of a bittersweet to see. He's such a creep. Like, you know, when you see him in True Romance, or when you see him in 8mm, or when you see him, he's such a fucking creep. You never would think that he would be, you know, remembered for this big freaking mafia boss character that he played in The Sopranos. Like, that's just not the character James Gandolfini would have ever been right for in my head. I would have been like, this guy is a perfect pedophile, or like, you know, he'd be good in a mob for sure, but like more as like a weird, crazy hitman kind of guy. Like the actual leader with depth and everything, I don't know. I would have never expected it, but it's pretty incredible. And we also got Tony Soprano's sister in this. You know, the woman who plays Tony Soprano's sister in The Sopranos is in this for a very short amount of time, and they actually share a scene together. So it's kind of cool to see them together on screen. And I would assume that this came out around the same time as The Sopranos. Pretty close, because I want to say The Sopranos came out originally in the like early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, and this what year is this? This is late 90s, right? Early 2000s. So this, I think that's something like, those dates should be right. So this is, yeah, it should be pretty damn close. Man, you want to talk about an easy jump. This freaking body changer guy, or demon, or whatever the hell it is. It's just like touch. That's it. Boom. Touch. It's crazy how fast it can change. And there's that. I like how like it keeps fucking with him and like showing him what kind of power it has. And it's just like touches one hand, and so like he keeps smiling and fucking with him, and then touches another person walking this way. So it's just like this never-ending cascade of this guy coming back. You know how much that would fuck you up. Like if people just like were walking past each other, and every time they touched, like it became that killer. You would just be like, you would just pulled his service weapon out and just discharged it right in his mouth. Like it would have been like, nope, I can't. I was getting this movie broken up, and I was getting interrupted a little bit while watching it, so if I'm not 100% on every single detail, I apologize. What was wrong with his brother? Did they say it in the movie? I'm sure they did and I missed it, but what's wrong with his brother? Did he like have something happen to him? Like he's like slow, almost mentally retarded. So what happened? Did he like lose oxygen or something? Like he's a dad. What is this? I Am Sam, which is the saddest fucking movie I ever watched in my damn life. I've never cried so hard in a film ever. I was like ugly crying in I Am Sam. Ugly crying. I don't do that very often. Almost ever. But that scene where he's like up on the stand and the prosecutor's like grilling him and he's like fine, like and I was just like I was like that breathless cry where you can't catch your breath because you're crying so hard, and I was like trying to get the words out of, like, leave him alone. Like I was so angry at the screen. I was just like, leave him alone. Leave him alone. I wanted to just reach through the TV and grab that fucking lawyer and just bash his brains and then just cry in his open wounds. I was so devastated. Anyway, but yeah, like, what's up with his brother? I missed that line. And another thing, I feel like this film doesn't play with it enough, but Denzel Washington here is basically tasked with multiple times killing straight up innocent people. Like he has to murder people to save himself. But I guess he kind of excuses this by the thought of, well, if I don't kill them, then, I have to try to kill this thing. Even if it's going to take this life, this is a killer who can do whatever he wants. He can fuck anybody's life up. Like, it sucks for this person who's possessed, but bitch, you gotta go. Like, it's for the betterment of everybody, because he could just touch his way all the way to the White House and then, become the president and then be like, I want to nuke, whatever country. And it's like, yeah, I wonder, why wouldn't he do that? Why not go to some rally and shake hands with some politician, and that politician goes in and shakes hands with another politician until, that politician is a politician that ends up in the same room with the president, and the president should touch the president. I mean, they could have made a fucking sequel to this where he becomes the president of the United States, and then you got like Christopher Walken's Dead Zone guy chasing after him. So you make a mashup here. And all right, moving on. But yeah, it's just I don't know if they explore enough upon the whole idea that Denzel has to kill innocent people here, like the guilt that he would feel in doing that. But I guess he's just very committed to what he's doing, and he's like, I know that this is for the greater good, so it sucks, but I'm just gonna have to mentally accept it. Yeah, but even if you kill him, he just exits the body and just immediately goes into another one. The brother dying is really sad and kind of unexpected, to be honest. It's like, damn, you wouldn't think they'd kill him like that, just kind of in his sleep, and the kid's sitting there and he has like take the kid out. It's a really heartbreaking sequence. Really, really sad. And then all the letters and all the shit like written on the chests and on the walls and all that. Like, they kind of touch and elaborate on that a little bit, but I don't feel like that's fully realized either. Like, I think we need a little bit more exploration of that in the film. I wish it was a little bit more obvious on what was happening there. I think, this is another one of those things where the girl was talking about it, who I thought might be his love interest, which I don't know if that's the direction they were going with it. Real pretty girl. I've seen her in some stuff, but I can't place what off the top of my head, but I know I've seen her a bunch. But yeah, like, she kind of talks about it for a second, but I don't know. Like, I was like, what exactly is the significance again? Maybe if I wasn't getting fucking interrupted at work every 5 seconds, I would have been able to fully pay attention to that stuff, but I just don't think it's that important. I found it kind of silly that he goes up to a nun and he's like, does the word apocalypse mean anything to you? Yeah, I'm pretty sure the word apocalypse means something to a nun. That was really stupid to me. And I feel like the Goodman twist towards the end is telegraphed so hard it almost hurts. and I think what hurts about it is that they kind of almost break the fourth wall in a way where Goodman's character essentially says, like, this was a shocking reveal. Like, I'm obviously ad-libbing here. I'm not even close to what he says. He says something along the lines of, like, sometimes it's a big twist or some shit. And it's like, dude, that shit couldn't have been harder. Like, that couldn't have been telegraphed harder. So I was kind of laughing that he kind of says it out loud. Like, whoa, you didn't see that coming, did you? And it's like, yeah, we did. I don't know if Denzel did, but we sure as shit did. Or at least I sure as shit did. So I kind of thought that was pretty funny. I mean, I like the idea of, like, he can't figure out how to do anything. He can't figure out how to do it. So he lures this thing out and kills Goodman and then drinks the poison so that he can't get out of there. That's cool. And that's cool that he's so willing to sacrifice his life like nothing there. I'm about to fall asleep. Jesus. But so he's out there and he does this, and then it's kind of revealed to us that the narration throughout the film has actually been from the killer as Denzel, which I thought was really cool. I thought that was the best twist in the movie. That the opening is actually the killer talking to you, having possessed, and that actually kind of it kind of feels obvious once it's done, because it's like he can body jump, he can take over anybody, but just that reveal of like I was outsmarted and almost died, and it like really kind of tells you at the beginning like I'm not gonna die, that something else is gonna happen, we're gonna get this cat twist. And it's funny, when he did that I was like, well, I hope he can't body jump into animals, because he's just gonna like jump into a deer in 2 seconds and boom, he comes out, you know, as a fucking Mittens the cat or something, and you're like, oh, well, there you go, he could be a cat. And then a cat's gonna go over and everyone's gonna be like, oh, kitty, let me rub the pussy, and then he's gonna be like, oh, awesome, like I'm this guy now. So yeah, he didn't think that one out very well. I guess he should have taken him out into the middle of fucking Antarctica, where he's going to have to become a polar bear and then go out and touch a trout, and then that trout was going to go into a fishing boat, although I guess and then the fishing boat would pull it up and then he'd become a fisherman. Wonder how long this dude's been doing this. And the thing I was left with at the very end of this movie, where you get the sea of people, and you know, it's like he could be anyone, anywhere. It almost like makes me think. Now, I don't believe this to be true, but let's say something like this existed. This guy can take over your body, and he can do things horrible and then exit your body, and then you're left with the repercussions of whatever the hell this guy just did, which is just dreadful, obviously. But I was thinking about like, wow, like what if this is the reason why, you know, seemingly normal people commit atrocities? Like, you know, they're susceptible to this, and some demon jumps into their body, or some entity, some body jumper, whatever, and they go in and then they take over somebody's body for like a minute, and they make them kill their family, whatever, and then they jump out and the person's like, I'm so sorry, and they're like freaking out in the court and in jail, and when they're put to death, they're like, I'm so sorry, like I don't know what the hell I was thinking. And it's like, maybe they weren't, you know, maybe they weren't. And that's, I think now, as I said, I don't believe that to be true, but watching this movie, that's terrifying. Imagine just be sitting there and you're like doing whatever you're doing, and then, you know, for a few minutes or an hour or whatever, you just kind of blank out, and then when you come to, your whole family's dead and your hands are bloody and you clearly did it, and you would just be like, you know, that's so unbelievably unfair. You didn't do anything, but your life is over. Everyone's life's over. So it's a terrifying thought. And it was just making me think of like, wow, if like demons and shit actually existed, that would be really fucked up if somebody got put in prison or ruined their life because of something like that. So had me thinking about that. But there you go, Chamberlain. I finally got to this damn movie. I apologize that it took so long, but you know, right now it is what it is. But at least it didn't take too long. But there you go. I appreciate it. Adios. Let time be on your side.